More like House of Marmite, because you either love it or you hate it. Yeah, I just thought of that. Much like Marmite, though, most people do hate it, and most people do hate House of Dynamite. Not me, though. I actually liked House of Dynamite. And if you got criticisms for this film, I probably heard them already, and I can't really say I got any criticisms with your criticisms. I think they're all fair enough. I understand why people don't like this film. This is going to sound basic and stupid, but it's as simple as if you like the film, you're going to like the choices of the film, you're going to like the editing style, you're going to like the structure, you're going to like the ending. So those things I all liked because I liked the film anyway. I know that's dumb, but follow me. Like this story structure that people find so repetitive, I found to better layer the story. Like I was actually looking forward to each time the film would reset and we'd go into the next act. I was excited to be given more context, a deeper understanding of what was happening. Like the first act that most people find most effective is mainly working off shock value. Like it's happening to you for the first time, you're like, what's going on? You don't know what's going to happen yet. I understand why that's the act people like the most and find the most exciting or thrilling or heart pounding or whatever phrase you want to use. But in many ways, that's the act I found the most repetitive, even though I was seeing it for the first time, because I've seen this kind of thing before in movies. Everyone's using long words, a disaster's happening, people are starting to freak out a little bit. Like I've seen it before in other movies. What I haven't seen is then the layered thing, the going back, moving higher up that chain of command. Characters that basically play as extras in the third act then become more prevalent. They become like main characters in the second act. Some of those characters become connective tissue basically and connect the three acts together. Like I think my favorite performance, even though there's a lot of big acts in this, was Gabriel Basso, who is like just this guy jogging on this Zoom call in the first act. And then you kind of see his point of view a little bit more in the second act. You hear his voice and carry through in the third act. Really liked his performance. And he used to be on iCarly. He's a part of that alumni with Austin Butler. So there's that. I hate that I'm getting my information from Jimmy Fallon, but here we are. I needed to know how to pronounce his name, all right? I feel like people are too caught up with the politics of this film. I know that's crazy because it's literally like a political thriller. People don't like where there's like a nameless, faceless bad guy, the enemy, the Russians, the Chinese or whatever, and it's the good guy Americans trying to save the day. They don't like that there's like this hip and cool president that is played by Idris Elba. It doesn't reflect our current reality. Well, I guess depends what kind of hat you wear, but you know, for most people, maybe not most people, for a lot of people, I guess it doesn't reflect the current reality of the president or whatever. But I didn't really read the film like that, and I didn't really feel like the film was necessarily trying to go for that. It kind of read just to be about a very specific event and how humans would react to that event. Like we see the Russians in this film, and they're played exactly like the Americans, just like scared, defensive, like they don't know what's happening. Everyone's trying to communicate with each other, but everyone's, you know, holding their cards close to their chest in a way. Even in this scenario where like the world feels like it's about to end, everyone's still like, everyone's thinking they're going to get fucked over. Everyone's just trying to protect their own. And everyone once viewed the Russians. I thought the film was trying to make me think that the Russians were like lying and being deceitful in that scene, or like, yeah, they're the ones who did send it. Like it played as, no, they're having the exact same conversations the Americans are having, but they don't have the information that the Americans have. The Americans don't have the information that the Russians have, and neither really want to give it over to each other in case they get fucked over. There is no like good guys, bad guys, no one in the right or wrong, just this is happening, how are people reacting to that? Like it doesn't matter who shot the missile. I don't think we're even trying to find that out. Like it could have came from Mars for all I care. Like it's just a point of like, there's a good possibility this happens, even if that possibility is like 3%. That's still probably 3% higher than you'd like, ideally. Like at least from the film's point of view, right? It's like viewing this as something that like will happen. Like the tagline is not if, but when. And like kind of maybe similarly to like climate change, it's kind of something that we all acknowledge as a reality, but we don't really accept as our reality. Like it's not something we'll ever deal with really. There is actually a surprising amount of not muchness you can really do. Your best case scenario for stopping this is stopping it before it happens, not stopping it after it's happened. This film just captures a short, frantic moment in time and then like looks at it from a bunch of different angles. I think some of the parts of the story people wanted more of, like more feeling for some of the characters, more characterization and stuff. It's actually the parts of the film where I was kind of most out of it. Anytime we'd flash out and see like the head of the Pentagon's daughter, or like Rebecca Ferguson's husband and kid and stuff, kind of like took me out of it and cheapened it a little bit for me. And like I think the stronger character moments are like when Rebecca Ferguson finds the dinosaur toy in her pocket amongst all the drama and then breaks down. That tells you she most likely has a kid at home. Her acting to scene that sells it. That just works better than me than a bunch of like phone calls everyone's always having to loved ones. The head of the Pentagon walking off the edge of the building, some of the dialogue and immediate distress in the early parts of the film felt a little clunky and somehow even melodramatic, which is kind of crazy to say because the most dramatic thing is happening. But the film ends how it should, in my opinion, because the film is just like about the event and the inevitability of it happening, not really what you can do in that scenario, because I think the film's just trying to say there is nothing to do. Like if the film ended with them like saving the day, would that not like undercut the whole point of the film and the severity? there we go, of this situation. I think the film like does its job in even just kind of starting a discussion. Not that anything will change from it, but you know, like, it's not the film's fault. I think the issue at the end is less like where it ends off and more like how it does it. Like, there's no build up like in just terms of like a crescendo, like in terms of the score, or like a beautiful final shot it will end on. Like, it kind of, you think it will end after Idris Elba has his scene on the plane, but then it goes on for like another 30 seconds and kind of peters out, and then like the text comes up on screen. And I think that's probably more where the issue is. It's kind of like underwhelming, which I can only assume is intentional. Like, it's meant to feel underwhelming. Like, this is the inevitability of it. Yeah, it peters out. Just because that's the intention, I'm not going to sit here and say you have to like it because of that. You have to think this film justifies its existence. No. But I'm just saying I like the intention, and for me the intention is valid enough because it worked for me. I found the acting compelling, the structure interesting, the editing was effective, the camera work was sometimes distracting, the dialogue sometimes corny, sometimes cut in. The ending was sufficient, and for me the purpose of the film was justified. It just, to me, just read more like an anti-nuclear war film more than like an America propaganda film. And even if it's just like a slightly compelling glorified PSA of a movie, I think that's still enough for it to exist, and I still enjoyed it. It's like nothing crazy. I would probably get like a 7 out of 10, but it's just like a lot more than I think other people would say for it. Also, this is like the second film of Idris Elba where they're talking about hitting a bullet for a bullet. So weird that it happened twice.